absolute first week we've had no snow in the forecast for Saskatchewan.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that is crazy. I must. The weather here is now starting to turn actually quite nice.
Yeah, we'll get
So,
there.
yeah. How long does summer normally last out there?
Well, when it doesn't start at the beginning of April, not long enough.
Yeah.
Um, Typically, summer will melt into fall somewhere around the end of October.
Oh, oh. And yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I thought you were similar to us. I mean, I know your winters are colder, but I didn't realise they lasted longer.
Oh yeah, they can go for a while.
Cool. So, how are things in the world of Canada?
Well, in the world of Canada, things are interesting. You know, every day there's something new that gets announced, and that's oh my, we've got a new program for this and a new program for that, and we're negotiating with this country and so on and so forth. So, yeah, we just keep going.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think like world politics has ever been more impactful locally than what it is at the moment now. So it's just there was talk of like flights being cancelled for jet fuel over here quite recently, and it's there's a whole panic thing of like if you buy your package holiday with your hotel included, then if the flight is cancelled for jet fuel, then you'll be okay. But if you've done it independently, if you booked your flight separately from your hotel, and it's all like people people are panicking. This week, it should have been like a half a day thing. That ended up being like a 3 day thing. And again, just running over for no reason whatsoever. But the world's in a funny, fearful place at the moment.
Yeah, well, and when you think about it, that opens up some interesting possibilities for the personal and professional development. Um, I don't want to say gurus, but the people who are out there to actually help. This is the time where you can step in and help people either manage the stress of what's going on out in the world, manage the anxiety, or make the change that they want to make. They've been thinking about it for years, and maybe, in the case of Canada, Bell Canada, I think it was just announced, or maybe it was Rogers. Go ahead, do what you got to do. I know that face.
Yeah,
That they're buying out half of their staff, and
yeah,
so now you have thousands of people who are literally going to get a severance package, and they're off to do something else. Well, what's that something else going to be, right?
yeah,
Um, you know, Typically with a liberal government, the public sector seems to grow exponentially, and even that is starting to show signs of the liberals can't really hire anybody else because there's even less than no money than what they thought there was. So again, it's an interesting situation, and for the people that don't necessarily want to sit around and feel sorry for themselves, they'll find their way. For the
yeah,
people that are hesitant or fearful or not sure exactly what that next step is, that's an opportunity for us to help.
yeah. Absolutely. I think people are so mindset focused now. So I was speaking at a business event last week, and normally, like the mindset stuff is, it's popular-ish. But the top three talks at the whole business conference, myself, one on stress and one on AI and the LinkedIn algorithm, and they were the three top talks at the conference. And normally, it's about financials or it's about tax or it's about, real business stuff. But I think people are very much concerned about the stress and the other side of the feels of business at the moment, which is interesting. And again, the price of fuel has such an impact. I know shows that I do out of holidays, but we're in season now as such. There would normally be a little bit quieter because it's out of season. but some of them are much quieter, like dramatically quieter, because people aren't thinking, "Oh, I'll hop in the car and drive for 3 hours and go to the holiday resort. We'll spend the weekend there." They're thinking we'll stay at home. So it does impact people, that fear. And so yeah,
Yeah, and again, the pocketbook speaks, right? So I heard the latest stats just yesterday, I think it was, when they're looking at comparing generations in 2001 in the states. The average median household was $170,000 to buy a new house. Now it's like $425,000. So if you think about different areas of the U.S., Canada is no different. In the West Coast, that $425,000, you can add a million to it. Same
yeah,
thing if it's in Toronto or New York or one of the larger centers. So as those things rise in cost, all that tells me is that your money has less and less value because every government printed money. So during
yeah,
COVID,
yeah,
and now it's out there. They need to inflate the economy so that the money has value again.
yeah. But then even a great time then to use that motivation to kind of go, do you know what? I'll double down on my side hustle as well as my other jobs, and all of those things that help you take control of what it is you want to do, especially kind of hypnotherapist, stage hypnotist. Now is a good time to kind of go, do you know what? A great way of generating a second income or a better first income.
Yeah, and you know what? And different areas will feel things differently. Like here in Saskatchewan in particular, because it is almost spring. It's almost spring 1.3. Uh, not having the uh, snow in the forecast for the first time this year in this area is a great thing. But we still have lots of melting that needs to happen, lots of drying up that needs to happen before our farmers can actually get out into the fields and start planting.
Mm,
Seeding usually gets done right around the May long weekend, Victoria Day for us, and I don't see them getting out there until maybe 2 weeks later at this point,
wow.
because they're like this area in particular. There's a lot of extra water sitting around, and not a surprise. I mean, topographically, if you look at Saskatchewan, it's not exactly flat. You know,
Yes.
some of us are a little bit lower than the others, and so. But the activity, the things that are starting to happen, um, that's all good, and then you are able to contrast that with we had a major uh, grain, farm grain, I don't know, the conglomerate, if you want to call it that, that just went bankrupt. So uh,
Wow.
now that whatever they had now opens up opportunities for everybody else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you'll see different groups starting to jump at that opportunity. I know Jesse is working steadily. He's got gigs almost every week, every 2 weeks. So in terms of people maybe not spending as much, no, they're still looking to have that entertainment, that fun, because there's lots of work to do. It's just
Yeah.
are you gonna sit at home and do nothing after that, or are you gonna go out and let off a little steam and have a good time?
I was going to say it's easier when times are more challenging to sit back and lick your wounds and go, "Oh, woe is me," or
Yeah,
you can use it to kind of go, "Do you know what? Now's the time to kind of get that grit and resolve." And
yeah,
I was quite lucky when I started to get into stage hypnosis seriously. Was pretty much when stage hypnosis was completely dead in the UK. Nobody was doing it. It had dried up, and so people would go, "Well, why would you do that? It's almost died now." Well, that's the perfect time because no one else is doing it. And now,
Yep.
20 years later, stage hypnosis is popular again. And I can be like, I've been doing it for 20 years. If I had to start again now, again, probably more challenging because you've got to make more noise to get seen or heard, but still possible. I mean, a great example of that is Fraser Penman. I don't know if you guys have it, but we have Great Britain's Got Talent. One of the better Got Talents that are out there. And he got himself through to the semi-finals. Did a wonderful job with his mentalism routine, but again, still promoting hypnosis in a positive way. And so that's gonna get him in theatres. That's gonna get tickets sold for Fraser. So well done to him for that.
Yep. And I go back to Chris Jones, and when he was on America's Got Talent,
Yeah,
and it didn't make it through the second round. He has used that as promotional material ever since. Uh,
absolutely.
and you know, it's not impossible to step out and make enough of a splash that people say, "Oh, we should see what that guy's doing."
Yes, absolutely.
That that person looks really cool.
Yeah,
Uh, that whatever they're doing, they seem to have a big smile on their face. We need to figure out what that is. And
yeah,
if you can make that kind of a splash, whether it's on the therapy side or on the entertainment side, you can write your own ticket, because once you have that base of clients and customers, and people see you, they start referring you. You know, well, Sean helped me do this. Can you? He can probably help you do that.
yeah. And speaking of Chris Jones is doing a show with Israel Mandrake as well. They're doing a double header show. That looks fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that they were looking at what they were going to do. Yeah, that'd be an interesting duo.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let's get into it. It was Heartland and the Irish Hypnosis Conference this last weekend just gone. Both look like they were incredibly successful. The Irish conference looks like it's coming on leaps and bounds as well. I think it's its third year.
I believe third year. Yeah,
Yeah, and again, great to see lots of people there as well. Heartland, great to see some familiar faces there as well. I couldn't make it out there again this year, unfortunately. Things kind of got in the way, but a great conference. And there is some great conferences out there. So there's the LA conference coming up. I don't know when the dates of that are actually.
you know what? That was the one that didn't show up in my search, but I want to say, isn't it in June?
I think so. Yeah, I think it is possibly the next one that's due. Let's have a quick LA.
Oh no, my bad. September 19th and 20th.
Ah, miles away then.
But in the grand scheme of things, and you and I know this from planning the Performing Hypnosis Summit, it seems like it's so far away, and it's not. Right?
No,
Like
oh, it
if
goes
I
it goes so quickly, so
yeah,
quickly.
like
And you
if I let
mentioned it, so I have to put it up there. There we go.
yeah.
Speaker applications are open, so do kind of check that out. It's the only conference dedicated to the entertainment side of hypnosis.
And for those of you that are speakers, yeah, you've got about a month to get your speaker proposals in. Uh, I had a chat with Dan, and he didn't lock the schedule for Michigan this year.
It's yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's yeah.
He said it wasn't me. I was told. So I think it was Heather that locked it. It said Dan,
Yes. Well, speaking
nothing,
of
any more changes.
yeah,
So yes, the MIHC 26. This is one that I want to make sure I get to.
yeah,
Uh, Not just because it's Dan, and I know a lot of people that are there, but being in that corner of the world in September is kind of it's a different experience. And
yeah,
then follow that up with the Canadian Hypnosis Conference in October. Again, that corner of the world, I've often said on my quote unquote bucket list, is going to these conferences and being down east in September and October because that I'm not in Saskatchewan and they can't keep calling me. "Hey, Sean, I said I keep telling them, what are you going to do when I retire?" And they said, "We're going to hang you in the corner, and then all the technology will still work."
Yes. They should create a mannequin of you with some Sean AI in there as well.
I believe they mentioned a golden statue.
Oh, oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, the Michigan conference is. I'm looking forward to it, actually. Jason Simmons is going to be coming over doing the entertainment as well.
Oh, nice.
So from the UK, so that'll be quite good as well. And I'm hosting a workshop as well for Dan on kind of entertainment and rapid inductions. So that'll be interesting to do that over there. But I like Detroit. It's such a cool city. It's a great vibe to it. And so there's always nice stuff to do. So you've got Greek Street opposite there as well. So yeah, definitely is a firm favourite. Hypnosis Hero. You
Yeah,
had a great guest on this week.
we had Carol Bridget. Carol is one of those people that we talked about it because I knew Carol before she ever came out to PHS and got connected there. She was just looking for people to connect with. And she
Yeah,
happened upon Scott and the Hypno Hustle. And so, I've known her for probably about 5 or 6 years now. And I've watched her, step out trepidatiously, get her confidence, and I asked her last night, I said, "So what is it like now that you've got, I don't know, 30 something?" She's got 10 times as many shows as I've done. And, could you step out and do a show last minute? And she says, "Yeah, that's one of the cool things is now I know what I'm doing. I've
yeah,
got enough experience behind me to, if something doesn't work, it's not going to fluster me, that wasn't the way it was when I started. I can remember in some of the Hypno Hustle meetings, Carol talking about what she wanted to do, and Bob offering some advice, and Colin offering some advice, and Lisa, of course, was always there offering advice as well, and getting things done. She also pointed out that she's doing it without a proper website, and a lot of the extras that we all think that we need. She just went out there,
yeah,
did it, got something local in a couple different places, and just kept building on each of those. So, in terms of being successful as a hypnotist, she's there.
yeah. And there's so much stuff that we're told that we need to do. Having an electronic press kit, a website, and posting 5 times a day on social media, and all of this stuff. When sometimes just doing it is all you need to do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah,
She's got a really great gig coming up with the Toastmasters in her area, and that came about because it was one of the bar shows that was local that she did. So she's there. There's lots of other great hypnotists in that area. Lene Mene is there. Benito Garcia, be hypnosis. He's there. And there's a couple others that are in that area, and I know they do like first Thursday, I think it is, or first Friday or whatever it is, in Phoenix and whatnot. But she's there and she's getting it done.
no,
And if you need a
super.
haircut, I mean,
Yeah.
we did talk about that. I did show my grad picture,
Oh,
just so
great.
just to prove to Brian that I actually had hair at one point.
Yeah. Cool. You mentioned Toastmasters there. Great organisation. A friend of mine's just re-signed up with them now, who wants to get back into the kind of business corporate speaking world.
Hmm.
And I do think, if you're not a natural speaker, then joining something like Toastmasters, when you're not getting that stage time, it gets you that experience of kind of standing up and learning how to talk as well. And you don't ever stop learning. Like I was saying to you before we went live, I've just signed up to an online speaker training with a great Australian speaker, Vin Young. Um, but it's about finding people that are doing the work you want to do in the way you want to do it, and then signing up for their training. And
Yeah,
so,
learn the only shortcut for wisdom is somebody else's experience.
exactly, exactly. So it's, I mean, working on Australian time zone is killing me. It kills me to do the American time zone, so going Australian is even more difficult.
Yeah,
And
well,
so it just
we
needs to
had
stay
a
away
couple
from
of
24 hours now.
Aussies in the Hypnosis Hero podcast last night, which was kind of nice to see. So we asked them
Nice.
what time it was. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day for them. So,
Wow.
and I think they had just arrived back from the Irish hypnosis conference. So,
Nice. Nice. That's the good thing about the conferences. People talk and then they discover something new. So obviously, someone spoke about the podcast and then they pick it up from that as well. So yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
all good.
Yeah, I'll just give this a mention as well. This is the Corey's show that he's got coming off in Saskatchewan, the Mind Magic Live. Um,
Yeah, they're
let's
billing it. They're billing it as M3, mind,
Yes,
magic, and motion. I think it is.
yes, and it looks like a great event. There's a little bit of everything in there from what I see: stilt walkers, jugglers, comedy, magic, a bit of everything. So it
Yep,
looks fantastic.
yep, and and in a great area of Saskatoon as well. Like, I don't know if you made it down there or not. If you come next time, we'll make a point of maybe doing a little bit of a tour inside the city, but Um, that area, the Broadway Theater, it's an older area of Saskatoon. It's been revitalized.
Nice.
It's where they would also host the fringe festivals in that area.
Mm,
There's lots of little coffee shops and bakeries, and I mean, you could you could eat well and walk around and just have a blast. And it's actually just across from downtown Saskatoon. So it
nice.
is, yeah, beautiful
Cool.
video. So Saskatoon people, North Battleford people, Prince Albert people, anybody who's within an hour and a half. I know it's a Wednesday night, but if you want to see some actual quality, primo, super great and funny and thought provoking entertainment, Wednesday night in Saskatoon is it.
Yeah. And I will say this for hypnotists, especially around that area. Corey's a great polished performer. And so I would highly recommend any hypnotist around the area to go and watch the show as well. So yeah, yeah, and a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Mm.
A
Yeah,
couple of others that are coming up really quickly. I'll just mention them here. If you are part of the International Alliance of Professional Hypnotists, May 1st to 3rd in Orlando, Florida, is their Hypno Expo. The NGH Annual Convention, 39th annual, uh, August 7th. Not to be, you know, outdone, Hypno Thoughts Live, our world's largest hypnosis conference. I would call it the smorgasbord of hypnosis conferences.
absolutely. And
Uh,
Scott, sorry, was at the Irish conference as well.
yeah, he was supposed to be there last year, and then something changed in his schedule. So I think this year he finally made it over there. And uh, it mentioned, I think somewhere I saw on Facebook that it's not his first go at Ireland. Apparently, he was there for school.
Oh, wow.
Took a university course over there for a year. But July 17th, 18th, and 19th in sunny Las Vegas at the Sahara Hotel is Hypnothoughts Live. And then we get into Michigan. We talked about the Mid America Conference. Canada. We talked about the UK Hypnosis Convention.
Yeah, so I'm at the UK one this year, speaking and doing a workshop with Jason Simmons. And they've got Paul McKenna on that one again, so that'll be interesting.
Yep. And then that kind of rounds out things for 2026. However, that's right. Be prepared for the Performing Hypnosis Summit, Las Vegas 2027. Why?
Wow,
Because we're already ahead of the game. We're all about next year.
we're all about next year. I do
And
keep winding Dan up and kind of
yeah,
saying like it's all Michigan all the time now.
yeah. The speaker proposals, like we said, are rolling in. And if you are planning on speaking or you want to speak at the conference, please do. I've had, I don't know about you, Grant, but I've had a few people ask about, is it maybe a good fit for me? And because I'm not necessarily wanting to perform, but I want to see what you guys actually do on stage. Yeah, it's a good fit. If you want to, if you, the, and I don't want to age out our population, but if you want people who have been there, done that, know it like the back of their hands, can give you all kinds of guidance. Um, yeah, I mean, you're not going to find a more seasoned group of professionals than at the summit.
Yeah.
In fact,
And
we talked about it last night.
if you're someone that's looking of getting into stage hypnosis or performance hypnosis, it's also a good place to come and meet everybody and find your mentor or your trainer there. Because it's you need to make sure it's the person that's the right fit for you. There's some great trainers out there, and there's some terrible trainers as well. But there's some you can learn some great stuff off terrible trainers, and you can learn some terrible stuff off good trainers. You've just got to find your person. I'm a big believer in try and train with everybody, but not all at the same time. So find someone that's doing something that you like,
Yeah,
learn from them, mentor with them for a little bit, and then move on to other people as well. And so PHS is great for finding people that are at a similar level to where you are, building that community, and then finding other trainings as well and other trainers.
yeah. And that's really key. Because without that, how do you know that you're improving? How do you know that you're delivering a quality product to your, to your client, your audience? The feedback that you get, and we actually did talk about it last night. The boot camp that Alan and Lisa run.
Such a
Uh,
great thing is that.
yeah, like you get 5 days on a stage twice a day with professional feedback. Here's how this is what happened. Here's how you can either change it so that it works better, or maybe think about it differently. Or you're maybe taking 5 minutes too long to do your introduction and the induction. Well, this is how you can shave those 5 minutes back so that you get people up there and get them engaged quickly.
Mm.
Just all a wealth of information, and of course, it never hurts that Alan and Lisa have that unique sense of humor as well. Let's put it
Yes,
that way.
yes.
So
I really like them. They're a great couple, and again, some great knowledge from them as well.
yeah,
Cool. That's it for me.
yeah. I think that's everything that's going on, at least as far as I can tell. If
Yes.
you do have something going on with your hypnosis organization, let us know. We're more than happy to promote it. We're here to expand knowledge around hypnosis. Even awareness of events is a big one. Because I can tell you this, there were a lot of people at PHS over the last couple of years that didn't know about us and then found out about us and are so glad that they did, because it
Absolutely.
shaved years of learning off of where they were at, and they are actively promoting it out there to everybody else. So
Fantastic. Have you got anything planned for May the 4th?
uh, yes, I'm going to wear my Starfleet uniform.
Awesome. Awesome.
It May the 4th gets pointed out to me more than April 5th does.
I can imagine.
And April 5th, for those of you that are Trekkies, April 5th, 2063 is the date of first contact. So,
Cool. Awesome. Guys, take care. Have a great week, whatever it is you're doing.
yep, take care, stay well, and be awesome.
Awesome.